Hey, good morning, guys. I hope you saw my post about triggers because I have a lot to say today. And the number one thing I want to start with is thank you. Thank you for letting me into your home right now, your phone, your screen for a few minutes. Tell me that I made it worthwhile. So, what the heck is up with triggers? It drives me crazy, this constant negativity that I myself am equally party to, where I see something and I'm like, oh, well, that triggered me to need to eat cookies, or I need to, watch these things because they're triggering me so I need to like get them out of my house and I need to do all that stuff. Out of sight, out of mind is a real thing and it's super helpful. But that is being reactive to our environment. And one of the best changes that I have been blessed to make, being mentored by Alana Molstein and now being a certified mentor to share with you guys, that she made me cognizant of, that I already saw, but I didn't realize. And if you're not living with intention, you don't realize the power of these habits that you have. And so you really can't maximize them and get the highest performance out of them. So Brendon Burchard came in and broke down something for me in a way I could hear it for the first time as to why something I do has been working and now how I can make it perform for me 800 times better. And I started 2 days ago and it's already blowing my mind. Stop being passive and accepting that I can only protect myself from triggers. Instead, start freaking triggering yourself. He reminded me that one of my favorite tools I used to use is the alarm on my phone to remind me to eat it a few times during the day. But with the 2B mindset, I feel really free. I know what to eat. I don't need to think about it. But he reminded me there are a lot of other things I need to be thinking about and I need to be intentional about. And that's where the alarm of my phone is like my guide. Instead of feeling like my phone is constantly distracting me or keeping me from doing things I need to do or keeping me away from my kids or keeping me away from, real relationships. Now my phone is sending me to all the right places in my mindset. And this is what you do. In my stories, I just posted a picture of my phone alarms, the ones that I said that I feel personally that I need. And I've personally been struggling with a high level of frustration and tension. In the first chapter, in the opening forward of High Performance Habits, first thing that he does is address that tension that we carry. And he said something that just blew my mind. The tension that we carry is what's holding us back, weighing us down from showing up as our best selves. And if we can take a few minutes throughout the day to release tension, then set an intention for how we want to go about the next set of time, we are going to be so much more productive, so much more high performing as parents, as spouses, as lovers, as professionals. And it is crazy, but he said this word and I was like, no way. He's like, just sit there and say, release, 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 until you feel like 10 times the tension start to come out of your shoulders. And I was like, no. But I want to be a high performer. I want to show up for the people I love. I want to show up for my team. I want to show up for the people I coach as my best self consistently. And that means continuing to grow, continuing to progress. So I did it. It works. I also have a percussion massager that is right here, and you just kind of go over the neck and shoulders and the arms, anywhere you keep tension, my low back. All of a sudden, I'm more open. Then here's where the phone comes in. Your phone alarm goes off at times of the day that you have preset with words that remind you what you want to be, how you want to show up. And I can tell you, it blew my mind this morning where I had it go off Like right when my kids get up in the morning, I'm up before them, did my workout. They're already starting to get up and around. And all of a sudden this alarm goes off and I wrote, I want to be loving and patient and empathetic. And all of a sudden I saw that and I was like, took a deep breath, said, release, put in those words, and I just showed up better. Even though it was Sunday, which is usually the hardest morning of the week for me, hardest morning for my kids, there were like 3-4 scenarios that absolutely would have triggered me to get frustrated and upset with them, that how disorganized they were, this thing I'd asked them to get ready the night before they didn't do. And instead, I was empathetic. I was loving. I was my best self. I wasn't somebody else. I just showed up in my best ability. And I was like, Then I kept hitting snooze. Like anytime I felt like, oh, you know what? Like I can see this is gonna be a hard morning. Let's hit snooze on this alarm. So it showed up twice more because I needed it. And I set my next alarm for when I was gonna sit down for work today. And one of the questions he suggested was, who needs you to show up in a big way today? And when I saw that before I sat down, I was able to really then set an intention for this video, for the post I was going to do today, for the blog post I was going to write, for the work I'm doing for my To Be Mindset and my freezer cook-off coming this week. And I was just so much more able to be intentional with what I want for you guys and how I want you to hear that you can change. And I just had finished, you guys saw I was posting for a long time, Brene Brown's book, Daring to Lead. And one of the things she talks about deeply is this creating more empathy. And I just was in tears reading the book, feeling like I don't have enough empathy for my kids sometimes. I'm in this like scarcity mindset of I have to take care of all their physical needs. Like I don't have time to deal with this temper tantrum about not knowing where your shoes are. Like, and I know I need to be empathetic and not sympathetic because Brene told me. She told me I need to not just be like, oh, that's too bad for you. I need to feel it with them when they get frustrated. And I didn't know how. She's like, practice. I'm like, how? Put an alarm in your phone that says, Lily, be empathetic. And guess what? Hearing that word gets you to be like, oh, okay, I need to be empathetic right now. Mind blown. Trigger yourself. Set some alarms. Trigger yourself into the life that you want, into showing up as the person that you want. And this is where I felt smacked upside the head. The next thing he said was, usually we avoid the triggers that make us better. Oh, you know we're struggling to manage your finances, so you don't look at your bills. You know you're struggling to lose weight, so you don't meal plan. You don't look at your grocery list ahead of time. You go into the store and let it happen, right? We don't look at things to trigger us to do the things we want to do when we're not sure that we can, when we're scared, when we just are not fully capable of believing in ourselves that we can live our best life. And I want you to know right now, I believe in you. You can do this. Take a minute right now. Set 2 or 3 alarms in your phone for the most important times of day. Maybe when you want to show up for your spouse, the words you want to use. Maybe when your kids are getting home from school and you're about to go into carpool. Maybe for the morning, if the morning or bedtime or whatever, you can take some ideas from my phone. Remember, they're words I want to work on. I want to feel loving. And this is something I feel like loving is a word of abundance. When I have more than enough, I'm loving. And I need to make sure that I'm constantly feeling that way. And of course, doing the things that give me the energy to be that way, right? Having a morning snack of veggies, having water, having my Shakeology this morning, having a great breakfast and lunch and dinner and good healthy snacks around so that my energy is up to then show up with what the intentions I'm setting are asking me to do, are triggering me to do. Because if you don't have that energy, if you're not taking care of your physical self, then how are you going to show up as your best self when that alarm goes off? I hope this was helpful to you. Let me know what spoke to you, what you're working on. If you want support around what your alarms should say and you want some feedback or to discuss, I am here. But what the next thing you should do is go to Brendon Burchard's podcast, where he has the High Performance Habits, available free 1 hour at a time in his podcast. So go listen to it. I'm listening to it, taking notes with it. I'm going to go listen to the next chapter right now, in fact. And I wish you the most productive, wonderful, blessed week, because I believe in you. And I am so honored to be a part of this journey. And I can't wait for you to join us in our elite guided mindset group so that you can continue to build the energy you want, make the decisions you want, and live your best life.